we come here and within 5, 10 years, we can make all the money we can make in this world and then we go back. So that was the same mentality I had. So when they told me about, oh, this is a long term, 10, 20, 15, 20
Welcome
years.
to my financial missteps series. We're glad that you're with us today. And as you know, on this series, we interview African immigrants to share their financial stories and mistakes that they have made here in the US so that you can avoid those mistakes too as you make your journey smoothly to achieve financial freedom. Our guest today is Mr. Philip Apoche. And Mr. Philip Apoche, you're welcome. And we would like you to tell us more about yourself, who you are, how you came here to the US.
And which part of Africa you come from.
Thank you for having me on your program. And I'm really glad to be here to share stories pertaining to us as immigrants. Our journey here is very, very unique. So it takes mentorship and guidance and all kinds of things like this to help us refocus our lives. And personally, I was born in Ghana, born and raised. I was a little bit older when I came to the United States, but fortunately, the family I settled with, they advised me on the right path to take, which is joining the military. So I joined the military and I have been in for 20 years. Recently retired about 2 months ago was my last day, July 15th. So I just retired. Married with 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy. And I live here in Texas. Currently, I'm in an executive MBA program at the University of Texas, El Paso. So that's a little bit about myself.
Well, welcome again, Mr. Poche. It's interesting. You did 20 years in the military. Wow, that's a pretty long time. That shows that probably you actually took it as a career. You didn't just go in and get out to get the, what we're talking about.
Yeah, everybody's intention, even the American-born kids, most of people I have encountered in the military, is just a few that goes in and think about making it a career. We all go in and it's like, okay, let me just serve a year or 2, 5 years, 6 years, and then get out. But life happens, life happens. And when life hits you hard, you change your decision-making process and you look into things that are better for you at the time. And I think when my time came to get out, life happened to me. So I refocused and decided to stay. And I'm grateful I did. I will not regret it. And I will encourage any immigrant who has a child here. What we think about is the military is a death trap, that when they go in, they are going to die. No. The thing about the military, and this is just by the way, because this is not the topic we were going to talk about, but since we're talking about immigrants,
yes.
I want to put this out there.
Yes.
The military is one of the best jobs you can get, you can join if you are able to. No matter what profession you want to get into, guess what? It's in the military. No matter what profession, being a lawyer, being a scientist, whatever you want to do is in the military. So we shouldn't be thinking that it's only infantrymen, people that carry guns and go shoot and go kill other people and get killed, the professions of the military. No, there is everything from a doctor to lawyer to you name it, astrophysicist, whatever you can think about. It's a job in the military too.
Well, thank you very much again for your service and congratulations for a distinguished career and retiring with honors, retiring honorably. So congratulations once again.
And talking of the military and service there, I've heard immigrants talk about, the military and saying it's a pathway, guaranteed pathway to getting citizenship and all that. So what are your thoughts on that? Just wondering.
So with that, yes, but the first thing is you should have your green card. So if you can only join the military if you have a green card. So there is nothing like people will say, hey, my brother is in Africa, let me go and bring him so he can join. No, you have to have a green card. Once you get the green card, you don't have a waiting period to citizenship. You do not have a waiting period. Recently, what they've been doing is once you enlist and you go to boot camp, by the time you graduate boot camp, they have your citizenship ready for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is it so? The military is transitioning into background checks, security background checks. So for you to have a security background check to do your job, you have to be a citizen. So that is why they are expediting everybody to get the citizenship once you are committed to join.
Okay, well, you've just shared a few things that we didn't know because I didn't know that you had to have the green card. I always thought that once you were here, you could join the military whether you had the green card or not. So that's a new nugget that you have just dropped there, and also the fact that they are speeding up the transition process. Well, thank you very much for that little teaser before we go into the main thrust of our conversation for today. So we want to thank you again for letting us know who you are and what you do and having served our country for this period. Now, to get into our main issue, what was your biggest financial challenge when you first arrived in the US, and how did you overcome it?
When we talk about financial challenges, it all boils down to a job. If you can get a job and if you can do a job. So it was a little bit tough when I wasn't working. But like I said, I was blessed with a good family that took me in. They took care of me. And when I joined the military, I didn't face too much of a headache with finances. And I had a very good recruiter too, who also steered me into how to grow financially. So when I joined the military, he knew I was going to make some income. So I had to start building credit. So he took me in to buy something small and get a store credit for my first credit card. And he warned me not to get no more credit cards after that. So that was my first one, to build credit. So personally, it is tough when you come into this country without documents. It's harder to get a job. But financial situations in this country when you first get here is who you stayed with and what job you get.
So now, since you've talked about how you came in and settled down, can you tell us, like, as you started being a young man, you started on, were there any financial mistakes, like your biggest financial mistake early on?
Those are a lot. I mean, a lot. The one I can reckon with so much, I was even discussing this with somebody yesterday. So when I first joined the military and I graduated, I was going to be deployed to a foreign country. I met this gentleman who I was fortunate to teach me about the American way to wealth building. But at the time, one big problem is that we Africans, we come here with, and I always say this, even when I'm teaching people, I tell them Africans come here with PhDs in our pockets as financial managers. We have PhDs, back pockets PhDs as financial management. So we think we know. So we don't want to listen. We don't want to hear nobody talk about finances. We have our own ideas, but that doesn't help. But this guy spoke to me I had an American with me, so we all listened. I bought into the plan and I deployed. I was seeing the money come out of my paycheck every month, but because I didn't know much at the time, I didn't know where the money was going. Came back, didn't even know the company. So I started researching, going back, finding out where the money is going from my account, and I got in contact with the company. And they re-explained everything, but I was like, no, this will not help. Thinking of a long-term investment, that is one of the diseases of us because we think we come here and within 5, 10 years, we can make all the money we can make in this world and then we go back. So that was the same mentality I had. So when they told me about, oh, this is a long term 10, 20, 15, 20 years, 30 years investment, I was like, no, this is not for me. And I canceled it.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Yes. I canceled it. If I had
what kind of investment was that?
It was more of a Roth IRA, but it wasn't a capped interest Roth IRA. It was attached to the indices at the time. So it was growing very rapidly. And I should have left it alone and just keep contributing. But like I said, we think we know, and we always have this in the back of our heads that, oh, let me come to America. I got the green card. I'll do just 5 years, 10 years, and then I'm just gone, you know. But 20 years later, here I am still hustling.
Well, that's interesting, you know. That's like you rightly say that it's a mistake a lot of us make when we don't realize that to make money at times requires long-term investment. You got to plant the seed and water it and allow it to germinate and grow before it begins to yield fruit. Many times we think we can just plant and back home we call it the agric plants. You plant a mango today, in 2 years it's already bearing fruit. No, traditional mango, you plant it, it takes years. And that's how some worthy investments are. Now, how did you go about finding reliable information that you needed and the resources to help you manage your finances in this country?
Getting reliable sources. So when that happened to me, about 5 years after that, I was working with one of my soldiers. He was a white guy and he was always angry. I'm tired of doing this job. I'm going out. And I thought, man, this pay is good. This is the best job. Why is this guy saying this all the time? So I cornered him one day and he was like, bro, my grandfather left me about $3, $4 million. So I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I was like, how did he do it? And he said, well, there's something called life insurance. He bought into it. And at the time, I didn't know it was IUL. So I started researching into it, calling companies. I walked to several insurance companies and they look at you, your demographics, they're like, nope, we don't have IUL. Yeah, we don't have it. But fortunately, I worked with a Cameroonian soldier. And I'm talking about 10 to 15 years after I got the information. He called me. He was like, hey, sir, we have something going on and I want to educate you. And I listened to what he has and I was like, yes, this is exactly what this guy told me about 15 years ago. So don't even say more. Let's just do it. And that is how I got into that program. And this program is a wealth generation. And there are two things about money. You can be either rich. When you're rich, it's you. You are rich, you can do everything for yourself. But what is being wealthy? Wealthy is living something for your generation, not even the next generation, 2, 3 generations down the line. So, yeah, that is how I got the information.
Okay.
That's good to know. So it was in the area of you mixing around with others and getting to know people that you were able to stumble upon some of this information. So can you tell us more? You said you got a store credit and then you started building. So can you elaborate more on how did you build your credit history and why is it important to do that?
Yeah, it is important because in Africa, and this relates to our cultural background and how we grew up, how we were taught about money, how our countries run on money. In Ghana, there's nothing called credit. You buy everything with cash. If you don't have it, you're not buying it. So, but coming to realize how the American system is, you cannot just get up and go buy a car and pay cash. It never happens in America. So they have a system called the credit system, where it shows that you pay your bills on time. You don't owe too much money. They look at your debt to income ratio, and they look at several things in your background before they allow you or they loan money to you to buy whatever you want to buy. People buy $1 million homes in America and they don't even have $1,000 in their account because their credit is good, and also they have a good job. So credit is very important, and to start a good credit is either somebody signs you onto their credit, or you are fortunate enough to get a small credit from a company. 9 times out of 10, the first companies that will give you credit from the beginning is the store credits, something like J.C. Penney, Macy's, and typically mine was from Macy's at the time. So it was only a $200 credit. Every month, I made sure that I paid $5 on it every month at the time. And I was paying that $5 every month, and it has built my credit somehow. And even alluding to the military, you are not allowed to have so much debt. Number two, for them to do a security background check and to approve you to do certain jobs in the military, you have to have good credit. So credit boils down to everything you do in America. Even when you go to the hospital, you need credit to be attended to. If you go buy grocery, you need credit. Anything you do, your water bill, auto insurance, anything somebody signs you on to do, they check your credit. So that is a topic that if we want to dig into, it will take a longer time to really get to it. But to just say a little about it, you need credit to do anything in America.
Wonderful. Good to hear that you reiterating that. We have shown that and on this channel. And by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel and you're enjoying what is going on so far, ensure you subscribe. Subscribe so that we can show this to as many people as possible and our folks can benefit from it. Now, Mr. Poche, the next thing I would want to ask is this. How do you balance, supporting your family back home? Because all of us come from Africa and we have families and dependents, extended families and all that. So how do you balance supporting them back home and managing your finances here in the States that is not to your detriment at the end of the day?
Sometimes that comes with learning how to say no sometimes. In Africa, everybody thinks once you're in America, there's a money tree behind your window and
on the streets.
But what I always say too is this: if sometimes that comes with, if there is a tree and you always pluck the leaf off of it and you don't water it and allow it to grow, it dies.
It dies,
so,
yes.
Yeah. So I've learned how to say no when I help when I can. And sometimes situation demands that you should help. So we do well to help them as much as we can, but I would say we shouldn't do it to the detriment of our families here, because this is where we live and we have to protect the ones that we are bringing into the world. So we have to do it. It's something that you have to do. We were brought up to support each other. We grew up. For me, for instance, there was 9 of us. I'm the only one here. Two of my siblings passed, so it's left with 7 of us, and I'm the only one here. So it's a lot of pressure. But if you don't know how to say no sometimes, then because they will never be satisfied. They will never be satisfied. And they don't care if you eat or not. All they care about when somebody is asking you something, all they care about is you giving it to them. They don't care how you get it. They care about you giving it to them. And if you don't do it, then you are the wicked person. But sometimes you allow people to say things that they think about you and you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Well, our viewers, you heard that again. You hear various ways of handling these matters by these eminent people that we bring in here, our eminent immigrants, and you hear them giving you different nuggets and different ways of managing, of handling folks back home, and also balancing that with your life here, because this is where you live. In my language, the Igbo language, we have a saying which says, where a person lives is his castle. And that's the place you water the most. You take care of the most.
So okay? Based on what you have said about saying no, which is just like putting boundaries, are there certain things that you look at or consider that helps you to be able to say no? Like in this instance, the answer is a no. So are there any tips you can give? Like what kind of things do you put into consideration in arriving at that decision?
First and foremost, if I have it. If I don't have it, it's a definite no. You can say whatever you want. Somebody could be dying. I don't have it. Yeah, that's a definite no. But if you can support, you have to look at who is a repeat offender. And I just use the word repeat offender because people never get satisfied. They will always come back and ask you for something. You also look into, is this person legit? Are they telling you the truth? One thing that gets me mostly is help if somebody is sick. But like I said, first and foremost, I have to be able to take care of my family first. So if you can set the boundaries for yourself. If you don't set boundaries, I mean, you can give $10 million to somebody, they'll squander it because they know when they come back and ask you have it, you will give to them. So yeah, you set the boundaries tight, and you live according to your values. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Now, thank you again for those nuggets. Now, what advice would you give to new immigrants to this country, to God's own country, about saving and investing for the future?
That's a very good question. I'm thinking of so many ways to tackle this, but let me see. I think the best thing to do is to look for a mentor. Because personally, since coming to these countries, mentorship has been what have held me in place and what has helped me to grow. Everything you do, you need somebody who is experienced in that. The problem is if we immigrants, and I mean Africans, can let go our PhD of money management and listen to the seasoned people that have been here and take lessons from them. You have to be careful though, because some people are they take advantage of you. Some people will take advantage of you because they know you don't know and they'll tell you things. But if somebody is really advising you, like my recruiter, when I said, he didn't tell me, give me the money and I'll get the credit, I'll pay it for you and all that. He didn't tell me that. He told me, let's go, they'll check your background, they'll give you something small. And they did. They gave it to me. It was dependent on me to pay. So when somebody is telling you, let's do this, give me the money and I'll grow it for you and all that, I don't take those. So those are the things we have to look for and make sure we are not giving our money to somebody. But the best thing to do to learn how to navigate this country, and even it's in careers too, is the same thing. It's just like your career. The best thing to do to navigate your career to the highest level is to have a mentor, somebody to guide and direct you as to what to do. It's the same thing in finances. If you don't know it, you look for somebody, and there are a lot of advisors. Fortunately, the financial management business is growing in our communities. Is rapidly growing in our communities. A lot of people are coming to the realization of it. So when you listen to your folks, those that will do you good, they will help you make good decisions. I talked about the military. When I joined the military, I was a founding member of an African community that we help support soldiers, African-born soldiers in the military. If anybody needs that information, they can contact you and get my contact to contact me. I'm willing and able to help be a mentor to somebody.
You can tell us a little bit more about what you mean with this particular program, like just so that they know what they are coming for, like who is it for and how will it help them?
So first of all, it's for now it has opened for everybody. But when we started, it was a few Africans like us, some from Senegal, Sierra Leone, myself from Ghana. We came together because we were mid to senior level leaders in the army. And we did it, we grew up, we came through the system with no mentorship. And it's hard to navigate your way if you don't know how to deal with the people that you work with. It's very hard to navigate your way. We went through the hard way. So what we did was to put this organization together, and it's a 501c registered organization. So nobody is going to take your money. Nobody is going to ask you to pay them anything. If you want to contribute to the cause, and we use that money to help people. What do we do? If you're a soldier or a family member and you're a member of this community, life happens. Somebody may die in your family. We try to support. We support soldiers who have lost their loved ones and are about to travel home. Sometimes you don't have the money. The community can come together and support you. If you get in trouble in the military, and there are a lot of times, there was this Jamaican guy who got in trouble, was about to be kicked out of the military, and he joined us. We wrote letters to the leadership and they backed out. So there are so many good things we do for our soldiers. And believe you not, we now have generals in the army who are Africans, in the military who are Africans.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have generals. So we have from a general all the way to the lowest enlisted soldier in the military on this platform. All we do is to help each other to grow.
What's the name?
It's called CAMFA, Continental African American Military Military Members and Family Association. Continental African American Military Members and Family Association.
So how do they contact you?
My email is Philip, my first name, Adam, PHILIP84@gmail.com. So it's PHILIPEDEM84@gmail.com. I know somebody will say it's long. There is an alternate one, which is ZTREKGR@gmail.com. ZTREKGR@gmail.com. So you can use any of these emails to contact me, and I'll respond back and direct you in the right direction.
Good. And then we come to cultural differences, especially in financial practices. We know Africa is quite different from the US here. So what were some of the differences that you noticed?
Yeah, I think I alluded to some of it, and the biggest one is we don't get trained. Nobody calls you back in Africa, sits you down. Hey, when you have $10, do this. It's very, very rare to get somebody to teach you what to do. Number two, we don't have credit system in Africa. So, and that had made it worse for us in the sense that we grow not having respect for money. We grow not having respect for money. Because every time you have money, no matter how much the amount is, you're thinking of buying something. So we grow into a culture of always wanting to buy. Our needs are unlimited. Here, because it's a credit system, you tend to prioritize and you tend to know what you need most from what you want. So that is the biggest cultural difference that I have experienced. And because we buy cash, that's why we think we know how to manage our money. And so we come here with the same mindset and ideology, but it always backfires because the systems are two different systems completely of each other.
Okay, that's another good one. Viewers, again, we remind you, we have our guest here, Mr. Poche, originally from Ghana, a veteran who has served 20 years in the military in this country, speaking to you and telling you how he navigated this nation and got to where he is today. Mr. Poche, we also know that you are into some other financial services. Can you talk a little bit more to that as we gradually come to a close, and then my wife will give you the last hidden question. Can you speak a little bit to that?
So there are different facets to where you can save money. And one thing I've come to learn is diversity is really a good thing, because you cannot put all your eggs into one basket. That is a wrong thing to do. But what I deal with most is life insurance and also teaching people to understand annuities. There are different types of life insurance in America. There is the term life, there's the whole life, there's the universal life, there's the index universal. All these life insurance policies comes with their own advantages and disadvantages. So you have to know what you're getting into. The one that my friend alluded to me 15, 20 years back before I even found was the Index Universal Life Insurance. That insurance is an insurance policy that also builds cash as you pay into it. It is not the conventional term life insurance, which is the cheapest way of getting insurance coverage, but all the money you pay into term life insurance goes to waste. Once your term comes to an end, your money is gone. Index Universal Life, you are insured for the rest of your life as long as you continue paying your premium. And as you pay your premium, almost 50% of your premium goes into savings for you. And what it also, what it allows you to do also is you can add more money to that 50% that is going into your savings to even grow your money faster. The good thing about it is I'm going to use some terms. I don't know if everybody will understand it, but if you went to school and did math in Africa or here, you should know something about compound interest. We did simple interest and compound interest. And this account grows compounded. So the interest you make also grows and makes some more interest for you. So it's a double interest coupling effect that you get in this account. And that helps you to grow money. And there's nowhere in America that you buy something and not pay tax. You take this money out tax free. So that's just one bit of it. And I'll leave it like that. If you want to know more, you can contact the host, and the host can get you in contact with me, or he can, I believe he's also doing the same thing. They can also help you to get something, some coverage for you and your family.
It's great having you here, but before we round up, we would like to ask you, how do you think immigrants can make the most of platforms like this, like Cash Talk? How can they use it to be of more benefit to them?
Education is it's not almost, it's always important. Education is always important. And now technology has made it to where access to information is so easy. Access to information is so easy. That is why you have a lot of people talking, but most of the people talking online are crooks. They lie to you, they take your money, and they run with your money. It is important to find the best person. And we always have something in our language that easily, I'm losing my thought trend. That is, translates easily into blood is thicker than water.
Yes.
So we are all coming from the same diaspora, Africa. We are supposed to help each other. And I think platforms like this are meant to help us to grow and to secure our future generation.
Thank you very much. Well, viewers, here you have it. We've had a wonderful few minutes with Mr. Apoche, and he's giving you these nuggets and everything that will be helpful to you. So we appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming. And if you've watched this far and you haven't yet subscribed, you're not doing us any good. You're not doing yourself any good. Subscribe so that more people will get to know about this platform and benefit everything that comes from it. Now, Mr. Poche, we will ask for your closing thoughts. What are your final thoughts before we wind down? Your final thoughts.
I would say Miss Christine and Mr. Vidal, Mr. and Mrs., I'm sorry. I really appreciate what you're doing. It's hard time that we start doing things like this to bring education to our community. A lot of people have different ideas and different ways they think they can do things. But on platforms like this, it is great to have people like you trying to bring this to our community, to open the eyes of our community. Nobody can do it for us. And I really applaud you guys for taking the time and the initiative to put a program like this together. You see it in other communities, but you hardly see it amongst us. And I really thank you for your time and what you're doing for our community.
If you've really enjoyed this series, this particular episode, there are so many more nuggets you can find from our playlist here. You can click on it and watch the interviews we've had with other immigrants so that you can learn a lot and avoid mistakes that they themselves have made.